being sober is my mother's most favorite holiday of the year. Every year, yeah. February 5th. No, February 4th. I think it's the 5th every year, and she texts me a day early and says, "Happy birthday." And I'm like, "No, it's tomorrow." And she's like, "No, it's definitely today. It's my favorite holiday. I'd never forget." So every year we have a soup and grilled cheese party because it is in the dead of winter and it's freezing cold, and we make vats of soup. There's like 12 pots of soup, and people just come over and we make grilled cheese and we eat, and we have a toast with Martinelli's apple juice. And 21, I had a boyfriend that literally all we had in common was drinking. Like, I don't even think we actually liked each other, like, at all. But we were that couple that anything you could think of to turn into a drinking game, we would. Like, movie quotes, or if it was raining out, or if the day of the week ended in a Y. Like, we were drinking, and we were drinking to get belligerent. Like, it wasn't like, let's go enjoy a beer and just hang out with some friends. Like, no, it was, neither one of us remembered what was happening, and it was awful. We ended up breaking up, and I got fired from my job. And so I had no day job, and I would literally wake up in the morning and I would go over to the bar that I lived walking distance from, and I would go over for their Bloody Mary bar in the morning that was like $10 all you could drink, and I would go get hammered, and I would walk home and I would nap for the day, and then I would go coach, because I was still coaching at that time. How I didn't lose that job is beyond me. But I would go coach, and then I would come back to the bar every night at like 9 o'clock, and I had my seat, my special seat, and they would have my pitcher of beer waiting for me and my shot of Wild Turkey American Honey. And I would sit there until 2 o'clock in the morning, and I would leave my car there every single night, and I would walk back to my apartment. On the weekends, I would stay there all day. I would sometimes take a cab across the street to Country Buffet and go eat by myself. Hammered. And it got to the point where my parents were calling me out for being drunk all the time. My friends were calling me out. My very best friend actually called my mother on me in the middle of the night one night because I was hammered drunk, sobbing on her couch. That, I think, was kind of my eye-opener. I woke up the next day and my mom wouldn't talk to me. My dad would barely talk to me, and they were like, "You know what, you have just crossed the line. Like, you have said things that no one should ever say to anyone, especially their parents, of all people." And I was terrible. I was mean. And I had just, I don't know what made me realize I had hit rock bottom. But one day I woke up and I was like, you know what, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm gonna do something so stupid that I'm not gonna see 30 years old. Thankfully I did in January. I remember going to my first AA meeting, and my parents took me there, and they know me very well. They took me an hour and a half early, and it took about that long to get me inside. And I remember sitting at that first meeting, and they truly do make you go around the room and introduce yourself and say, "I am Ashley, I am an alcoholic." And I remember sitting there and I was sobbing, and I had my dad on this side and my mom on this side, and I said, I couldn't look at anybody. I stared at the ground. I said, "My name is Ashley, and I think I might have a drinking problem," because I couldn't say it. I couldn't admit it. And I don't think that I was not a person of faith at that time, but it was definitely lost until then. And I remember they always would say the Serenity Prayer, or they would say the Our Father, and I was like, oh, I fit in here. I know these. I can do this. And that helped. And being able to know that there's actually people out there like me that have this same problem, and there's a lot of us. And it's amazing how many things I actually have in common with people other than drinking that I never would have discovered before. It's so crazy to look back on the person that I used to be, and I'm just so thankful that God rescued me from that, and that I was able to just come out of that, because it was so dark, and I remember being so ashamed and so embarrassed, and I'm not anymore, because it by no means defines me, but it's part of me. It's part of who I am and where I've come from, and I think that we all kind of have things that trip us up in life, and a lot of people are very ashamed, and you live and you learn and you find your faith and you grow and you make friends and people that lift you up and help you through what you're going through. And I can honestly say I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people other than my family in my life at this point that know that Ashley, and I'm so thankful for that. I lost a lot of friends, but they weren't truly friends. They were drinking buddies, but they weren't actually people that supported me and wanted to be there for me and see me through to the end of this and see what I could become.